Hi guys, welcome back to our channel, The Leeds Lobby, and we haven't posted in a couple of days. We've been out in Croatia enjoying our holiday, so we are back today with the Aston Villa match preview. It's going to be on quite early in the morning, 6:35 where you are, 5:35 where we are, I think. But we're looking forward to it. Dad, what are your thoughts?
My thoughts are, again, turning to what I expect to see Jesse Marsch trying out. Again, there are a few things that are quite unresolved in that first game in terms of a lineup, in terms of who's going to be in our starting 11. I think there's been a few problems that have been posed for Jesse Marsch. Not all bad problems, some good problems as well. Obviously with a few injuries.
Yeah.
It seems like Bamford has been rested, but what we're hearing from the Leeds camp is that Bamford being rested and not training with the rest of the squad is nothing to do with injury. It's to do with the fact that I think Jesse Marsch is hoping to get Bamford through a full 90 minutes against Villa, which will be interesting to see how ring rusty he is, how he performs.
Sheila gets injured again.
Who else is injured?
Cooper has picked up a knock, and so is Gelhardt, I think.
And also Firpo is out, but I actually personally between us and the Leeds fans, I think that actually might not be a bad thing.
And we are looking at Josh Tymon from Stoke.
Because we may end up, it might just force the hand with regards to bringing somebody at left back in. And who else, sorry?
And it's not really in the light of the Villa game, but we are looking at Josh Tymon from Stoke City as a signing for left back. I think it'd be a great signing. He's very much Christensen-esque because he's not as physical, but he's very much an attacking fullback, and he scores goals and gets assists.
I do think that there has been one particular, not headache, but kind of somebody who is going to cause a bit of a problem, I think, in terms of selection for Marsch, which is Giabi. He obviously started, and he just seemed to outshine everybody else on the pitch, particularly the two holding midfielders that we've just brought in alongside him. Of course, he's come in and I mean his passing, his range of passing. His interception of the ball, his aggression, it just seems to be very, very much on point. It'd be interesting to see if he features in this Villa game and how he plays. But for an 18-year-old at £5 million, 7 million quid, whatever it may be, €7 million. I don't know what exactly we have spent on him, but I know it's quite a lot of money for an 18-year-old. But you know what? I can understand why, having seen him play now, because this guy is going to be somebody who is going to be a world beater. Again, him and Archie Gray in the middle, very, very exciting. Very exciting to see how much they're going to play in this next season. So who do you think Leeds are going to start with at the back then, Dan?
I think my predicted lineup for the back line will be Rasmus Christensen. I think he might try a different defensive partnership to the Cock and Strauch one he had against Brisbane. I think he might try Llorente and Strauch, as Llorente didn't start last game. He came on in the final 10 minutes. So I think Llorente and Strauch, he is going to want to sort of assess what defensive pairings he has in terms of options with our abundance of centre halves that we have. I think Llorente and Strauch will be his centre back, and then I think the left back will be Leif Davis.
I say again, for me, right back. Even if Ayling were fit right now, I would expect to see Rasmus Christensen starting in that right back role. He just seems very, very athletic. He again played very, very well in the first game that we saw against Brisbane. Very impressed with him. Strong on the ball, knows what to do with it. Very progressive, not somebody who's just going to play the ball back all the time. I actually think Luke Ayling's probably going to get phased out a little bit this season. But again, you might actually see him playing in centre-back. Stranger things have happened. I know we've got a lot of centre-backs. I know people keep saying stop playing players out of position. I keep getting that said, but I have said Koch and Strauch are most likely to be the two that feature. I said that. He started with that in the last game. The reason why I say that is because Koch has played right back and has done a good job at right back for us. He's come in and done a job, put it that way. Not, I wouldn't say he's necessarily done a good job, but he's not necessarily shone, but he has covered when we've needed it.
I'm sorry, did you just say Ayling at right back, Dad? Ayling at centre back?
Just hear me for a second, let me explain. Strauch playing centre back, he has played left back for us and has done a good job there. And again, in that double pivot with wing backs kicking on, it's really important that centre back can move over to that left hand side or move over to that right hand side and cover. Really, really important. The reason why I say Ayling, because if Ayling comes back fit, let me just put.
Continue.
If Ayling comes fit again, and one of those two, in terms of centre back, aren't having such a good run of games, he may well come on account of his ability to move over. But we will see. We will see.
That is what we call a mug statement.
Okay.
You can't say Ayling at centre back after the abysmal season at centre back he had last season. Okay, when he played right back against Wolves and Crystal Palace, and he played some good games at right back, but at centre back, Dad,
But Leeds are entering an
he's
era.
a penalty on toast.
Yeah, Leeds are entering an era of double pivot. And
We can't be doing
as
square
fans,
pegs and round holes
we've got
anymore.
to be used to seeing our centre backs moving over to cover behind wing backs who are devoid of defensive responsibilities. We've got to get used to seeing that. That is the way that Marsh is going to play. That we've been told that is the way that Marsh is going to play.
Llorente.
Right.
We have so many centre halves, and you pick Ayling.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm just trying to work out if Rasmus Christensen is as good as some of us think he's going to be. How is Ayling going to get back into this side? Is he just somebody that's going to get sold in January when he does become fit? I'm not entirely sure. He's been at the club for quite some time.
Yeah, he'll be a captain from the bench.
So let's just see.
He won't be a centre back.
But let's see where he's going to
We'll
feature.
see, we'll see.
He's not going to be hooking.
We'll agree to
Christensen
disagree
if
there,
he's
but
gonna
I
play
don't
well.
think that Ayling at centre back would work.
No, and neither do I. But what I'm saying is it
Yeah.
is a possibility because he has played at
Yeah.
centre back, and in that double pivot there is extra cover coming back from midfield, so that's important. We've got to bear that in mind.
Yeah, but Roberts has played as a striker, and that don't work. Just because they played there before.
Yeah, well, Roberts. I mean, goodness me, Roberts is gone, and hopefully, hopefully he comes back a better player. But we will see. We will see.
Who's your left back, Dad?
My left back, again, we said Harrison. What I saw with Harrison is somebody who's not used to playing in that position. He made some defensive errors. He wasn't particularly great with Sinestra going forward on that left-hand side. I saw Leeds lately put a video out earlier on today where he had Sinestra at right wing and I think it was Jack Harrison on the left wing. Guys, that is not going to happen under Jesse Marsh. We're going to be playing with inverted wingers. That means the person who's playing on the right is going to be left-footed. The person who's playing on the left is going to be right-footed. Liverpool set up with inverted wingers. Man City set up with inverted wingers. Chelsea set up with inverted wingers. Rafinha was right-footed playing on the left wing, and they come in and they play the ball inwards rather than getting to the byline and cross the ball. Guys, this is what we're going to see. I don't understand why we've still got some of our own fan base talking about and posting teams on Twitter with Harrison on the left and Sinisterra on the right. That is not what we're going to see.
Yeah.
Sinisterra is not a like-for-like replacement for Rafinha because he's going to play on the other side. Invert that, and that's what you will see. You'll see two inverted wingers. That's what we're going to see. What that basically means is if we're going to play that way, our fullbacks, our wingbacks have to be wingbacks. They have to bomb forward and they have to provide us width when our wingers are moving inwards.
Yeah, I
so
think
that's what we're going to see.
Another thing to take into account is that while Jack Harrison was playing at City, Pep Guardiola, arguably the best manager in world football at the minute, arguably one of the greats of a manager's as a manager.
Come on, spit it out.
I think that while he was at City, Pep Guardiola himself saw Jack Harrison as a left back. Pep Guardiola, we're talking about
Conte.
Pardon?
Conte as well.
Yeah,
Tottenham.
and Conte at Tottenham sees him as a left back, and you can throw in like Eddie Howe, who's not like really, but Pep Guardiola and Conte see him as a left back. These are two of the best managers
I
in
have
the
to
world.
say,
Come on,
unless Leeds sign a left back or a left wing back, I'm putting my chips on the table and saying, I've been saying this for a while. There's been people who have been in our threads who have been taking the mickey. I said weeks ago, Jack Harrison will be starting as a left wing back for Leeds United. That's what I said. And then we've hit the first match in the Australian tour, and sure enough, Jack Harrison is started at left wing back.
tomorrow he's going to want to change it up, and I think he will put Davis at left back.
Yeah.
Davis played all right.
Yeah.
Davis did decent.
I don't know if he's going to continue with Jack Harrison. Now, my only thoughts weren't, I think Jack Harrison would do a good job. None of that. My thoughts behind that were that earlier on in the transfer window, Leeds were coming out saying they're not in for a left back. They have no intention of signing a left back. And that told me we're not daft enough to only have Leif Davis and Junior Firpo. We're not that stupid. There has to be other options, and those other options were Jack Harrison. And we'll see. He may continue with that experiment. He may have decided he's seen enough and it don't work, but we will see. Obviously, they've been training behind closed doors, and we'll see where we go from there.
Who's your midfield pairing?
My midfield, this is difficult. Tyler Adams, I think, is going to be somebody who, and again, this is really, really important as well, because we've been saying that Tyler Adams will eventually become Leeds United captain and Cooper will be phased out. There's been lots and lots of people criticising us in the threads for having said that. But then the press conference after the Brisbane match, Jesse Marsch is banging on and going on and on and on about how Tyler Adams is a really good leader on the pitch. Almost like he's preparing Leeds United fans to see a transition where Tyler Adams becomes a captain. Let's see, but I actually think that Tyler Adams will become a captain, which means he's going to have to be playing every match.
I think he'll be a good captain.
I think ultimately his preferred pairing will be Tyler Adams and Rocha. I don't know if Giabi can play another role other than a holding midfielder. I saw just nothing but competence on the pitch from him, and composure. Someone
commented that I don't recall the name. It might have been on Facebook even, but someone has put somewhere, maybe on one of our videos, that Tyler Adams is the real captain of the United States men's national team, and that Pulisic just has the armbands for the big games. I think that's really, maybe Pulisic has the armband like an intimidation sort of tactic for the big games. Like Pickford is the real captain of England. For me, I think Pulisic or Henderson are the real two captains of England. But Kane gets the armbands. Kane's not even the captain of Spurs, so Kane gets the armbands for the big games as like an intimidation. Like, look, we've got Harry Kane. So obviously they're going off on a tangent about England, but
some of, I think
Adams is the real captain of the USMNT.
We've got a lot of soccer fans who are commenting on the threads, who are obviously subscribed to the channel, and they're asking questions regarding. They're talking about Tyler Adams. What do you think about Tyler Adams for Leeds captain? Do you think Jesse Marsch will make Tyler Adams captain? Do you think, have you seen him in the US national squad? Have you seen he's got the leadership qualities to be able to do a job for Leeds in that? Or do you think we stick with Cooper? Just a question. I mean, obviously, it's interesting to know. I mean, Cooper is obviously a leader on the pitch. He's great at organising the defence, it seems. We had a better defence with Cooper in it. Or was that due to Calvin Phillips not being there, and was it due to us being rolled over in midfield, the defensive frailties? What do you think, fans? So, again, this is a big question. I personally would like to see Giabi alongside Rocha. I don't think I'll see that necessarily. I mean, obviously, it's a friendly, so we've got like loads and loads and loads of subs, so I dare say we will see him on the pitch at some stage. Don't necessarily think we'll line up with like that way the first match of the season, and he is 18 years old, so again, maybe he's a little bit patient and doesn't necessarily need to be starting every game for us, but be interesting to see how Jesse Marsch lines up on the first match of the season.
Who is your centre midfield pairing now we've spoken about it?
From what I've seen, Giabi and Rocha.
I think that he will. Don't think he'll start JB again. I think he might have a few more minutes than last game. I think he will come on at half time, but I think he will start with Rocha and Adams again.
I do think I need to see more of Adams to figure that one out, because I'm not entirely sure that I've seen exactly what I was expecting.
Yeah,
to find from
but
him.
Going into the season, Adams and Rocha is going to be our midfield pairing. Really, let's be starting the season against Wolves. They will be our pairing.
Yeah, and I think Archie Gray will feature, and I think Giabi will feature. But remember, they're 16 and 18 respectively. They're still young, but my word, those two they're gonna light the Premiership up at some stage, and I just hope they're both Leeds players when they do it.
Yeah.
So who are we going to play as
Wingers.
Inside right, inside left? Who are we going to play as?
I think probably Sinistera and Aronson.
Yeah, I think that's likely as well. Although James was on starting for Leeds on the left wing. Was he on the pitch with Aronson at that time? Did Aronson play as a second midfielder?
Yeah.
I missed the first 10 or 15 minutes because I was dropping the girls at the beach. But what I will say is that I think that James hasn't really been played in his preferred position that much this season. We've not seen much of him in terms of attacking goal threat. We've seen a guy that's out of confidence, probably down to the fact that he's not been playing in his preferred position at right wing. We put him on at right wing and he looks like an attacking threat. So again, that's interesting. He's perhaps going to provide competition for anybody who's in that right wing berth. Be interesting to see if Aronson starts on the right wing or whether he's an attacking midfielder. Are we going to play a 4-2-3-1 or are we going to play a 4-2-2-2?
I think we'll start a 4-2-3-1, and obviously Bamford is back, but Joffy is injured, so I think we will just have Bamford leading the line on his own.
In which case we can have James and Aronson both playing.
Yeah, I think the three in behind the striker will be strikers here. Three behind the striker will be Sinistera, James, Aronson.
this is what's nice about Leeds United now going into this new season. We're in a situation where we're trying to accommodate player minutes.
Yeah.
We're trying to find how we can fit players into a system, as opposed to trying to find who can possibly play a role in a system, because we've got that many players injured and such a narrow and small squad. Now we've got competition for places. And I think that it's just where you want to be in the Premiership. You want to know you've got somebody else who can do a job, haven't you?
Yeah, I think we're both in agreement. Bamford up front, obviously. Just put him on, see how he does, test him a bit.
And this is what's interesting about Bamford. We had times in the Championship where he wasn't hitting the target, and then with a season in the Premiership where, everything he touched turned to goal. He had a great season for us, and then last season was an absolute disaster. Do we think we're going to be finishing next season with Bamford having contributed 15 to 20 goals, or are we going to be looking at Kalimuendo thinking he's going to start every game and Bamford's going to get sold, or are we going to be looking at a Bamford who's injured? I don't know.
In the words of Brian Clough, if he was a horse, he would be shot. Bamford. No.
Really?
If we
ruthless.
If you're racing,
completely ruthless.
If you're racing with a horse, right, and
you just said that Bamford should get shot.
No, if it was
That's
a horse,
ruthless.
If it was a horse, it would be shot. Right, I digress. Right, if you're racing with a horse, right, and you're racing with him every week in, week out, and then somewhere down the line,
it's competing with Gabriel Bonglaw at this stage.
At some point down the line, he picks up a bad injury. Right, and then eventually he gets back, and then he keeps getting injured. You put him down, you do. So I think that if we do need to start possibly thinking about phasing him out and bringing in a Kalimuendo or a who's the other guy we've been linked with, Dries Mertens. I don't think CDK will happen, but it's possible. There were reports saying Milan aren't willing to meet the same valuation that Leeds have met, but this isn't a rumour mill. So I think Bamford up front just to see how he does, see if he's got it still.
Yeah, I think we've got to give him a chance at that number 9 berth. Just because of how he performs, not last season, the season before. We've got to give him a chance if he is fit. But we definitely would be negligent to not now go ahead and buy somebody who can hit the back of the net, and somebody who is a number 9.
Yeah.
Looks like Kalimuendo is possibly
Yeah.
going to be that guy. There's rumours that we're bidding 21-25 million for him, and that we're putting in a full asking price for the club. And that we're now in a situation where we're in contract talks. So again, that seems to be quite far progressed. We'll have a look in the coming days to see what happens, and we're just waiting for that, whatever it is.
Yeah.
That Fabrizio Romano says.
Yeah, and just quickly, do you want to touch on the One Mata links?
Yeah, One Mata. It's interesting. Now, One Mata was for me, I think was what I saw in terms of the Premiership was a real good playmaker for Chelsea. I mean, obviously at the time at Manchester United, he's had favour, he's dropped out of favour, he's in and around the club. Scum fans don't like the idea of him coming to Leeds, obviously for obvious reasons. I don't like Gordon Strachan is my captain in terms of my era. My era, you know, we've all got an era, haven't we? Some of the older fans on here will have a Billy Bremner as their captain. Gordon Strachan's my captain, and what I have to say is that, if I'm completely honest with you, when we think about buying Gordon Strachan for 350,000 from Manchester United, and him coming and being our talisman, our captain, and what a player he was for Leeds as a playmaker. He's the same age that Mata is now. I don't want to look at somebody who hasn't even come to the club and say that there are similarities, because I don't want to. But I don't want to in any way link somebody who is still a Scum player with Gordon Strachan, with his legacy at the club. But what I will say is, this is somebody who can play football. This is somebody who's got a smart footballing brain, and if we can get him on a free, he might not be a bad bit of business. So let's just have a look and let's see what happens there. As an option of somebody to come in and do a particular job for us.
And obviously, I was saying to my dad, we've got a lot of links with Spaniards, as obviously Horta is a Spaniard. We have more Spain players in our squad than any other nationality.
So that's it for I think the video today.
Yeah, there's your preview.
Please subscribe to the channel. Put any comments that you've got in the box below. Obviously, tick the notifications box, and we will be back at some stage tomorrow after the match to talk a little bit about what our conclusions are from what we've seen.
Yep. See you next time. Bye.